Welcome to Navigating the Truth. It's March 26, 2023, and my guest this week is Renee Coltson. Renee is a repeat guest, and we will be talking about animal healing. Enjoy.
We interrupt to bring you this.
We've hijacked your daily dose of regurgitated news to bring you Navigating the Truth. Brace yourself, listeners, as you're about to enter a world where the narrative is no longer masqueraded as the truth. A world where the conspiracies of yesterday's translate into the truths of today.
Are you listening?
The veils covering the truth are lifting, and understandings once suppressed are finally being revealed. Will you be ready? And now, your host and navigator through these circles of lies, the host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hi, welcome to Navigating the Truth, and this is Sunday, the 26th of March. I'd like to welcome the listeners. Thank you for joining us today. And I have a return guest today. I have the wonderful Renee Coltson. Renee is the founder of Partnership in Planetary Healing, which is dedicated to raising awareness and uplifting consciousness. She is a natural healer, an adept in metaphysics, and is an inspiring teacher geared for the spiritual development of those she encounters. Her successful and compassionate-driven career in the healing arts, which includes facilitation of workshops for healing with animals as well as for people, and plant life educator. She it has taken her on global adventures where she has become internationally recognized as an animal expert, Maven of Animal Healing, and an advocate for Earth. Renee has experienced many mystical and otherworldly experiences which have proven to continuously expand her spiritual relationship with nature. She teaches through the foundation of her philosophy and sustainable knowledge that all life is sentient, interconnected, and interdependent. In today's chat, Renee and I will be, we are going to, just give me a wee second here, I'll kind of lose my way here around my prompts. Let's see here. Yeah, Renee had actually sent me something that was what we were going to be discussing. So let's see here. I've got it right here. Let's see. Just hang on with me. You can tell it's live. Yeah, not as prepared as I thought I was. But here we go. I'm just going to read it off. And it is... Here it is. I'm all over the place today. Sorry about that, listeners, but I will get my bearings. You just give me a minute here. Yeah. This Sunday's chat with Renee will be focused on divine healing during the first hour. Following that, Renee will be sharing info, insights, and inspirations she has been blessed with through relating to plant life as sentient organisms. That scientific statement will be demonstrated through a music of the plant's device, which translates a plant's electromagnetic signaling communication between the root system and the leaf, which creates a melody of changes as things alter in the plant's environment. So if any listeners out there have any questions, you can do it in the chat on KCOR, or you can do it through Skype. And I'd like to welcome Renee. Welcome.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. I have to say, though, I had a big shift in direction of content last night.
Okay.
I went because, well, it's funny, because it was kind of promoted as animal healing, because obviously that's what I've done in my 30-plus year decade. Mm-hmm. I decided, you know what, I better stick with that. And the interesting thing is I kind of went out and spin out of control last night. Like, what am I going to talk about? Anyway, it all changed, and it really is about animal healing. I have a lot to share. I'm not sure we're going to get through it all. It might have to be a part 2 down the road,
Oh
but
yeah,
I'll
definitely.
do the best as I can. But, the thing is, the last time I was on, I talked quite a bit about the seedbed of the new normal. Energy healing must become an integral part of the seedbed of the new normal. Yes. And really that is my thrust right now, of speaking with people and communicating really how important it is that we stand by and are ready for animals and for people too. But I'm going to be talking about how really to be ready for animals. And the new direction that came up last night was, I've taught animal healing workshops for a long time globally, and it was very specific to frequency, working with these new frequencies of healing and the method by which you step into that equation and work with the field. Well, that is not everybody's task. So today, I am bringing out my guidelines to interact with animals through the field. Not talking about what I do. I'm not even offering workshops at the moment. I'm on a reset on that whole thing. So I'm going to be sharing with people how important it is, whether they have already learned a healing modality and they are active in it, maybe with people only and not animals. I'm going to share insights on how they can really step into the fullness of including animals, especially in emergency situations and critical times that are happening more frequently on this planet.
Yes.
And also for people who have maybe learned a healing modality in their past, maybe they're not confident, maybe they didn't step into it, but I'm going to, ask them to be open to thinking about and making forward motion steps to get ready. I'm not saying hang a shingle. I'm saying there are going to be times when the emergency crews, the first responders are not coming. And I'm not a fearful communicator, but this is real. And I will share how I deeply got this insight last year. For the first time, I was actually personally involved in one of those episodes, the Hurricane Ian. I wasn't there, but I received contact in the after effect of not being able to get a veterinarian to show up because they couldn't. So anyway, and of course, the other group of people I like to open up to are those that have ever thought about, gee, that's really awesome, that person can do energy work. I'd like to do that. Or if they've read books or metaphysical oriented or spiritually developed, in that avenue of divine healing, those people do, because I'm going to tell you, it's not that hard to be ready and be prepared and have it in your toolbox and apply the insights and guidelines that I'll share today to broaden the spectrum of how you approach healing by working through the field as opposed to having to be right on the body or near the body.
Right.
So I'll go through the short story and what inspired me with that terminology. Energy healing, shockingly, I think, people still roll their eyes. I mean,
I know. I know. Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's been around for eons, and maybe that's the problem, because it's been around for eons and it's brings fright to certain segments of humanity. And so they poo-poo it and make it bad and evil. And that program has carried through for eons of time. So I'm just here to say, you know what? There's a divine approach to it. It should scare nobody, because you're not alone. When you're interacting with the field, and I will go into a description of how I communicate what is the field in a simplified way. And some of that comes directly from Lynn McTaggart, her book called The Field. If people are familiar with that book, I highly recommend it. So we'll be talking about that. But last year, when Hurricane Ian hit Florida, I received a call early on that Thursday morning, so it hit on Wednesday night,
Mm-hmm.
From someone who, said it was like a freight train went through their home. Their home was still standing. Their barns were still standing. They left the barn door open so the horses could have a choice, in or out,
Right.
And there were big trees down, fences were, there was so much debris. One of the horses was hit by something. It's unknown what it was, but he could not walk. He didn't have any open bleeding injuries, but he could not walk. So, from my experience working with horses, I saw that as what, a term, the slang term for it is wobblers, whereas the communication isn't going through the spinal column from the brain to the hind legs and they can't move them. Whatever the case, whatever it was, he could not walk. Mm-hmm. And she was in a panic because she called her veterinarian, of course, and he said, I don't think I'm going to be able to get there for 5 days or so. We are so with calls. There's so many emergency. There's so many places we can't even get through. The first responders, the veterinarians, the emergency, you name it, they may not be coming.
Yeah.
And opening people, like, don't be afraid, be ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
energy healing is one way that I can see that a lot of people can step into a high level of being of assistance. And by the way, yes, so I worked with that horse. And when I worked with the horse, sometimes I'm not an empath in a way that I take on and process their symptoms through me. I don't take their disease, okay? I don't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do feel, and so I have a sense, and I might have symptoms, but only for a moment. I'm not really taking, it's a different level. It's not me taking it on physically, it's me sensing it. I feel it, I have the experience, and then boom, it's gone. So after I worked on that horse the first time, literally I was having a hard time walking, but when I could move my legs, I was really bouncing off the walls, and I knew it wasn't vertigo. This horse, it wasn't dizziness. It was complete instability. Mm-hmm. And so I worked on it. Bottom line is, by the time the vet did show up, and the vet showed up on Monday, the horse was fine. So, we went through a quick shift.
Wow.
Well, yeah, to everybody's surprise, she did have a farrier come and look at the horse just from his perspective as a equine professional, and she knows a lot about horses, and I've done a lot of work for her. Her name is Emily, and I've done, she calls, sometimes she doesn't call the vet, she calls me. It just depends on what it is, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes I go, and now call your vet, right? So, but she called the vet first. She's not stupid.
Yeah.
The horse couldn't walk. So anyway, she just said, the farrier that showed up and a couple other people, she lives in an equestrian community, and a couple other friends that came in that know a lot about racehorses. It's not a racehorse that I worked on. JT, I was having a hard time remembering the horse's name. It's JT. Mm-hmm. JT's not a racehorse. He is a thoroughbred. She rides him on the trail and jumps on and so on. So everybody said, you know what? This looks like, 6 months to a year for this horse to be home, probably surgery. Just by looking at his condition, without any open wounds, bleeding, just like how he looked and how he couldn't move. So that was, really, it was 2 days. It was 2 days. 2 days, wow. But you know what? Anyone can do this. You know why? The field, to me, I'm going to explain what the field is. In my perspective, I'm just going to give you a 3-letter word that I see that the field is, because it connects. It's the fabric of life that connects everything, all of this and everything. And the field doesn't stop on this planet. It is, the field is unlimited. It's full. It's love. When the creative intelligence of the universe created, it was all love. All love. Anything that is not aligned with love, it's not of the God source or the force, whatever you want to call it. I actually do like the word God, but I also like the using creative intelligence of the universe, because let's face it, it's pretty intelligent. You did
Yeah.
all of this and made it all work, right?
Yes.
So the field is infinite intelligence and energy from which all things proceed. And to me, what I'm saying there is all things proceed from God.
Yeah.
I am not a religious person. I'm going to just qualify this right now. I have nothing against organized religion, but personally, it's not my path, because I am more cross-cultural, if you will, more universal than that, and accepting there are truths that range from all. I have a problem with separation and all the bloodshed that has happened in the name of organized religion. But
Absolutely.
so I'm not sound like I'm talking religion. I'm not. It's from a spiritually driven place within me. That is my thrust is, spiritual development and being part of that for humanity and the planet. So the field is a vast sea of energy, which we are constantly interacting with. It is the indivisible, or invisible, actually. It is indivisible and invisible fabric, infinitely connecting the totality of all that is. And this is what makes us and everything here and beyond this planet interconnected, interrelated, and interdependent. It's a single web of life. All beings are inseparable parts of the whole. And what is happening, thank you. What's happening here at this time, what we're going through and have been for a while, but really it's trying to find balance on this planet, because it's always been a struggle, right? And things change dramatically in the galactic alignment of 2012, when everything, Lee Carroll, Cryon, I like his information on the crystal grid, the crystalline grid, which is the first layer, which is in the dirt, holds all of which also is made up of silica and so on. It holds energy, right? So it holds the memory of everything that happened. And the dominant force seemed to be darkness. So a lot of this planet, the repetition of all of that, I don't want to really, people get it, right? I'm sure they get it. It changed. The crystalline grid moved because of where consciousness was on this planet. We were allowed to survive, right? And move forward and continue to develop and build and the consciousness and the ascension process and all that goes along with it. It's driven by compassion now, and all you really have to do is pay attention, because look at all the changes in just 10 years, a little over 10 years, that are relative to compassion. So I hold on to that, because it is my hope. I mean, yes, if you watch mainstream media, and I do. I do watch it. I do sometimes, but I try to go. But on the other hand, there are people on there talking about using words like compassion. So there's hope, and the field is permeated with new light now. There's a new light environment, and this is directly out of J.J. Hertock's work of art called The Book of Knowledge, The Keys of Enoch. I think he wrote it in 1973. And in there, it talks about a new light environment which will be coming to this planet. And, of course, that was, he scribed that book, not necessarily channeled it. He scribed it. And anyway, so we're in this new light environment, and there's a lot of opportunity. And during this shift, there's also a lot of changes, because Gaia is also involved. She's in partnership with humanity and the field, on these changes. So when we were talking about the field is a single web of life, and we are all connected, our approach to it and through it and connecting to it and utilizing it more in our awareness. We're always in it. We're always connected to it. Hello.
Yeah.
Right? It's a
I like that. I like that when you say that. Yeah. That you can't not be connected to it.
You cannot not be in it. But, sometimes the electrical signaling pathways may not be clear. It just depends on where you are in your thoughts and, how aligned you are with that love. Because when a person is in fear and living in fear and feeling unworthy, and I want to talk about that, it's not something that people put upon you. It's something you put upon yourself. It's a limitation. A lot of people who learned healing, I was involved with a large organization for a number of years, 16 years. I created the Animal Healing with Animals, Reconnected Animals programs, and facilitated workshop globally. And like a lot of other training, I think, people go through it, but then they don't do it. And why don't they do it? For a lot of reasons. But one of them may be, well, on to the next thing, or they just didn't really feel like they got it, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lack of confidence. And confidence is always connected to feeling like, on some level, I'm not worthy to do this. These what can be about a miracle. But when you shift your thinking to, you're not alone. You are the connector for the person or the animal. I'm going to use another term here that sounds religious, but it's not. An intercessor. I went from thinking of and this just happened within the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Because I have this clear voice that is my teacher from within, and I get very direct guidance, and I don't question it. I know it's what I know, And unworthiness, by the way, came 2 days ago. I went, don't like that word. But it was like, oh, well, you like the word, but you need to understand it from a different perspective than what you're thinking, right? So I did. I looked at it and went, I get it. It is connected with confidence. But anyway, so a lot of times people don't move forward and do it. So the training is there. But when I went from facilitate, the word intercessor came into my consciousness, and I went, okay, I can't say that out loud on the radio, right? And because I was going to be talking about divine healing. Oh, and we are discussing divine healing, but I'm just not going into the list of that I was going to. We can do that another time, and what that means and all that. But intercessor.
Renee, we're coming up on the first break. That was so fast. Hold that thought. We will be right back after this 3-minute break. Thank you.
You're listening to Navigating the Truth with Caroline Bell Tumblety, where the truth survives and the lies are exposed.
I just want to assure you that everything is under control. There's been no damage except for some temporary malfunction of the radio.
Come be a part of this awakening by joining us in chat or by calling our hotline at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230. Worldwide callers, find us on Skype at KCOR Radio.
We're pushing the ultimate frontier here. Control must be maintained.
More disinformation exposed and the truth discovered. After a word from our sponsors.
1 million miles till midnight. A story of timelines, artificial worlds, simulated races, and the galactic imprint. And the destiny of a blue world called Earth. 1 million miles till midnight, written by Solaris Blue Raven, is a journey through the mind's eye which allows the reader to surf a wave of technological and multidimensional intellect, revealing a bridge between conscious design and the truth. A multidimensional bleed-through awakens the world of artificial intelligence to set sail into the frontiers of a vast multiverse, morphing planets and terraforming ascended worlds beyond the linear programs of a fated race. 1 million miles till midnight will awaken, inspire, Prepare and enlighten one to the many multidimensional states of consciousness and worlds we reside in. With every cell and atom, we are this truth and multiverse. 1,000,000 Miles Till Midnight. Written by Solaris Blue Raven. Available now at Amazon.com. Don't wait. Get your copy today.
1, 2, 3, 4.
To the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
I love the way it sounds.
Love the music. I listen all day.
The future of radio is here and now.
Alien Deceptions, a suspenseful sci-fi romance thriller by Tina Marie, featuring the tantalizing Erica Jones and the mysterious Russell Hamilton. An out-of-this-world book of fiction based on years of document facts and files the government does not want you to know about, at least not yet. Alien Deceptions by Tina Marie. Available now at Amazon.com or get a signed copy at TinaMarieEntertainment.com. Get your copy now.
Change your frequency, change your life with the Lemurian Plug. The Lemurian Plug is easy to control, simple to set up, and wireless. It helps to neutralize toxins and has restorative frequencies for healing. It also helps to protect you and your family from EMFs. The Lemurian Plug is energy efficient and designed using ancient technology for a superior design. One unit can cover up to 1,000 square feet. This life-changing product is reasonably priced. And isn't your family's health worth a small investment? For more information on the miraculous effects of this plug or to purchase the Lemurian Plug, visit thelemurianplug.com. That's thelemurianplug.com. The Lemurian Plug is like nothing you've ever experienced. Order yours today.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas' #1 source for talk and new music.
How cool is that?
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Navigating the Truth, the one show that peels back the masks of the elite and exposes the truth we're not being told.
Here to warn you. You must not abuse the power you've been given. Eventually, you will lose control of that power and the whole world will suffer.
Come partake in the awakening by calling the show at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
Give us a call now.
Those around the world, connect with us on Skype at KCOR Radio. Follow us on Twitter at KCOR Radio or use hashtag KCOR. Come engage in the discussion live in our chat room at www.kcorradio.com.
Our survival depends upon it.
Now, back to examining the narratives and uncovering the truth with your host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety. Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hi, welcome back to Navigating the Truth, and I am here today with the lovely Renee Coltson, and she is sharing her experience, her knowledge, her wisdom, and welcome back, Renee.
Thank you, Caroline. Let me just see if, I left off at intercessor, didn't I?
Yes,
I did. So how that came up, and as I said, that was a word that up until, I think the day before yesterday, I would have never really brought in, but it came into me. And so I've always seen, so I've done Reiki as a Reiki master teacher. I went through the, 3-year period of doing Reiki before I stepped into the training to become a Reiki master. And I loved it. And I did that for 11 years. And then Reconnected Healing with Reconnection came along, and I did that for 16 years. And also throughout my life, I was always an animal healer. I was born that way. And when I say I'm an animal healer, I don't mean I'm the healer, okay? I've always known, even as a child, I would pick up an animal and I would pray. I would pray to God to please, especially when I figured out that our pets, if something happened to one of our pets, they became garden mulch because my father would take them out and shoot them. I mean, I grew up in this area, and well, he did it. He didn't like doing it. He hated it.
Right.
But as a child, I didn't understand it. What I understood is I better not get sick. And so I never do get sick, by the way. Never.
Yeah. Wow.
I never had mumps, never had chickenpox, never had none of them. But anyway, I mean, it's not that I don't get bodily problem, joint stuff, but I don't get sick. So anyway, I always have known. So when I say, I think most people, if they call themselves a healer, hopefully really recognize it's not really them doing the healing, that we are an intercessor, really, if it's divine healing. And facilitator was the word that I've used for the last 23 years, facilitating healing sessions. But I feel like when sharing this field stuff on no matter what you do or what you choose to do, if you choose to go out and learn healing, if you come from it in this perspective, you're not alone, and it's not on you, okay? You are the connector. You are that which is standing there in that place to be of assistance as a connector between the field in the physical plane, in this physical world. And yesterday I got a call for a good friend of mine who fell backwards. He's, is he 90? I think so. And he cracked his skull, or 89. Anyway, he's elderly. And his wife called me when they got him to the hospital and asked me to, I said, be an intercessor? Yes. So,
yes.
And anyway, we were talking this morning.
Thank you for listening to Navigating the Truth and my guest, Renee Coltson. If you would like to hear the remainder of this interview, please go to kcorradio.com and the archive is free. Thank you so much.